You're listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. The show that gives pastors and church leaders the clarity they need to protect their people, property, and ministry.
Welcome back to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. I'm your host, Ron Wadley with Insurance for Texans. We help church leaders protect their people and property with wisdom and clarity. Today, we are concluding our series on church safety by answering a question that completely redefines modern risk management. How do you develop a hospitality-first safety team? The Sunday sermon was in full swing at a welcoming church just south of the river in Austin. Families were settled into the pews, listening intently, when suddenly the main doors of the sanctuary creaked open. It wasn't a late-arriving family. It was a man who appeared deeply agitated and angry. He strode right down the center aisle, his voice starting as a low rumble before quickly rising to a loud shout. His angry words were aimed directly at the pastor on the stage. You could feel the tension in the room. Quietly, several church security team members placed a hand on their concealed handguns, paying close attention to the stranger's movements. But as the unexpected guest continued his path toward the platform, a woman named Stacy intercepted him. Stacy is a member of the church safety team. She didn't rush him or raise her voice. Instead, she simply moved right alongside him, creating a natural buffer of calm. As they walked together, she spoke to him in a low, steady voice. The church members couldn't hear her words from the pews, but they could see the immediate effect. The rigid lines of the man's shoulders began to soften. The fury in his eyes flickered, replaced by a glimmer of confusion, and then something much more peaceful. Stacy continued to quietly speak to him while gently guiding him out of the sanctuary and into the lobby. The pastor paused, gave a slight nod of gratitude towards Stacy, and continued his sermon. Within minutes, the man was sitting calmly in the lobby. When the missions pastor gently put a hand on his shoulder, tears started streaming down the man's face as the leadership began to pray with him. A moment that could have easily exploded, dissolved into a ministry opportunity. This is the difference between a church that simply has an armed security team and a church that is fully committed to a true safety ministry. The old model of relying on a few volunteers with a concealed carry license who are ready to react to a threat is no longer an adequate safety plan. Disruptions like custody disputes in the children's wing, outbursts from individuals struggling with mental health, or domestic arguments spilling into the parking lot are regular occurrences. Your team must be trained to recognize these problems early and execute specific protocol-driven verbal de-escalation techniques. This training teaches volunteers how to use strategic communication to lower the emotional temperature of a situation. Stacy listened to the man, let him vent, and guided him away from the audience of the sanctuary to remove the performance aspect of the outburst, allowing him to back down without losing face. De-escalation training is something that insurance carriers ask about. From an underwriting perspective, a church that prioritizes and documents this specific training is viewed as a significantly lower liability risk. Insurance carriers also require clear, enforceable safety protocols to be firmly in place before they will extend liability coverage for an official team. Furthermore, mastering these verbal protocols can prevent legal problems. While Texas Senate Bill 694 offers vital civil immunity, it cannot stop a plaintiff from filing a lawsuit. If your volunteers jump straight to physical force or draw a weapon without attempting to calm an individual down first, a civil jury will want to know why. Proving that you attempted to de-escalate the situation will help your case. That's why it's time to embrace a hospitality-first safety approach, where your team is trained to welcome, observe, and protect with wisdom. If you are ready to take the guesswork out of protecting your congregation, and align your safety training with an insurer-approved blueprint. Connect with our True Texas Church insurance specialist today at insurancefortexans.com. We'll provide a customized risk assessment for your campus and connect you with the right resources to protect your church safety ministry. And to learn more about church insurance in general, download your free copy of our book, The Promise of Certainty, at thepromiseofcertainty.com. I'm Ron Wadley, and this has been Faith Stewardship and Insurance Protecting Texas Churches. Until next time, remember, your church's mission is too important to leave to chance.
Thanks for listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, insurance isn't just about policies. It's about safeguarding the mission God has called you to lead.